Alright, how you guys doing? Guy, I guess. Turn this down. Just don't want to hear myself. Before I get to this, let's go over this. Just a quick show and tell here. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this. Now, I'm not the biggest Civil War fan. In fact, I'm not even sure if I would qualify as a Civil War fan. I appreciate the history. I gain it so little. It's embarrassing. But I came across this, and it seemed like a piece of war game ephemera, almost like a piece of little wargaming history. So I picked it up, and the other reason I picked it up was it is in fact John Hill, which is what I'm trying to get at. Full of charts. I've read that this thing is way too detailed to be played. Not sure if that's true. Probably way too detailed to be played in a relatively short amount of time. Here we go. I'm going to read the foreword to you. This is the special one. This is his baby. John Hill has a favorite, and this is it. For as long as I have known John, the American Civil War has been his passion. Throughout his home are pictures of the great leaders of the Confederacy and of the Union without partiality. Very important. Johnny Reb conjures up romantic pictures of the valiant Southern soldiers in their gray and butternut jackets, struggling against impossible odds with only a sincere and abiding faith and Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson to make it come out right. This image combines with a good feel for the flow of a Civil War battle to create quote-unquote flavor. John and I have mused long over a comfortable drink in the aftermath of an exciting, well-fought miniatures battle. We believe that the real essence of a game is that flavor. It makes it feel right and makes it a good game. A good game also involves considerable historical research on the subject. A thorough knowledge of the tactics and weapons of the period must be combined with an understanding of the training and attitude of the men and their leaders. Personality plays a major role in the conduct of a battle. This game has all those elements. The commanders and Johnny Reb are real characters, as you'll soon find to your chagrin. Here is John Hill at his best, for Johnny Hill and Johnny Reb are one and the same. Hooray for the Johns, both of them. The author, whom I value as a good friend, is one of the most creative game designers of our time. Hear, hear. The game, which I enjoy, is one of the most exciting historical games of our time. So here is to Adventure Gaming. And Adventure Gaming is the one that put this out. So it was also released by Game Designers Workshop, another edition after this, unless I have that switched. So here's to Adventure Gaming. May you play your part with enthusiasm and skill. The romance of the American Civil War is about to carry you from the technology of lasers and spaceships to valiant charges and desperate defenses on rolling hills, narrow lanes, and winding creeks with names like Gettysburg, the Orange Plank Road, and Antietam. I guess they're referring to popularity of Star Wars at the time. Whether your sympathies lie with the North or the South, you'll find the flavor of Johnny Reb makes for an exciting, realistic, and playable game. I highly recommend it to you. And I also like the landscape view of the rulebook here, as opposed to the letter. I'm actually working on a rulebook that's set up thusly. But that's another story. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Picked it up. Will I play this stuff? You know, probably not. I won't rule it out. But John Hill's the man, so grabbed that. And I don't know if whoever's watching can hear me. I have a window unit going. I got the cat freaking out. And what else? So for the main event, I'm going to bring you down in a second so you can see what I'm talking about. I have done a video or two back about Victory and Glory and the issues with that game, major problems, very disappointed with it. But I was only going to just tweak it anyway, so I mean, it's not a big deal. And I guess I've done that. I've taken what works out of it, what I liked out of it, left what doesn't work, and combined it with some other things, kind of did a home brew, and this is what I've got. So let's bring it down, and we'll go through, I don't know, however much until I don't feel like doing it anymore, and then we'll leave it at that. So where are we here? There's, can you see everything? I'll make sure this is straight because I'm OCD. it's crooked. There we go. And I'm still using a stinking phone instead of a real camera because I don't know what's wrong with me. That's another story. So hopefully you can see that good enough. I'm going to try and bring some more light over here, so just bear with me and then we'll get to it. Light. And even more light. See if that helps. Hopefully that helps. Alright, so here we go. So what I've done is, and I'm going to back up here, taken Battles of Napoleon and the cards that are included in there. I've used the artwork for that just for functional reasons, but I've changed the stats on the cards. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to redeploy the British. So again, this is a combination of Victory and Glory, primarily a lot of the rules from there, battle mechanics, and then Battles of Napoleon, the Eagle and the Lion, and some of my own stuff. And what I've been working on is a rule set that I hope to have available for you guys. You're not going to maybe be able to see that too well. Forward to Victory is what I'm calling it. This little home brewed deal. And so stick around for that. So I'm going to run through a lot of the rules for you, and then we'll get into gameplay. Hopefully whoever's watching is not in a hurry, or you probably shouldn't watch, or just watch later. What do we see here? The battlefield. Now the battlefield, this is the most efficient way I have determined to set this up without actually having a map. I tried putting slots on sheets and then having sheets that you lay out, but it's just, this works the best. What I hope to do is have, and I already mocked them up, these cards that you see here will be the image of the game title page, and all they do is help regulate placement of your troops. So again, I've already placed the French. What do we have by way of the battlefield though? We have, this is a battle line where the French are currently set up. That's the British battle line, British reserve area, French reserve area, and for lack of a better term, no man's land, although that's a bit of a misnomer. There's going to be troops in there as well, but neither side owns it, as it were. So that is the battlefield, and again, these playing cards that are face down help regulate placement of the unit cards. Let's see, the bottoms of the cards are where the unit stats are. There's really nothing complicated there, and that's part of the beauty of this game. In fact, I should say, I've been referring to this as like a wargamer's fidget spinner. Again, there's no maneuvering as such, or movement, or strategic map, this, that, or the other. It's the battlefield is the battle. How's that for a tagline? So yeah, it's pretty cool. Again, the units, I don't think there's a unit stat higher than 4, and they're balanced out accordingly with your light and heavy artillery, light, medium, and heavy cavalry. Militia is a 0. Then you've got your guard infantry as well as regular infantry, and the stats are balanced out according to the unit type. Let's see, you got a few information counters that I'll be including in the version that I release. Basically, I've been again using the counting information counters from Battles of Napoleon. So what do we have here? We have a square marker, a route marker, and a disorder marker. And then with the optional rules, which really only include another way to play this, which is a little even quicker, a little less involved, as well as 10 or so random events. You'll have skirmishers and out of command markers that you'll be able to use. I won't be going into the random events just because I want to keep to the basics. It's involved enough, and if you'll notice, I had this ready because there will be math involved. And I don't mind that so much. May seem overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, you're able to roll right through it. So what happens is you can play this two-player, maybe that's the best, but one player is not a problem. That's how I've only ever played it. And I do have some AI for the British in here. But when you're setting up, each side, you got a deck here for the British and a deck here for the French. You're going to shuffle the deck and distribute a number of cards, which you can then place on your battle line or reserve. And the way I have it now is you're going to distribute 12 cards. 3 is only ever the maximum that you will be able to have on a single battle, a single wing or center. So for me, this would be my right wing, my left wing, and my center. For, I guess, you guys, the British, this would be your center, your right wing, and your left wing. You can only ever have an amount of cards that are equal to the slots that are open. So that's that. I think the cat's ready for dinner. Let's see. Then you're gonna, well, let's just set up. So another way to do this, if you're playing solo, just to kind of make it a little more interesting, I've decided to distribute the British lines randomly, which again, it just makes it more interesting, in my opinion. Put some in the reserve area there, and then turn them face up and see what we get. Why do I have more cards? Oh, I don't need to, this is the wrong deck. Let me back up. Welcome to live recording. Alright. Now we'll do it. Great, yep. Place up there, reserve, doo-doo-doo. And why would this matter? This matters because, I'll turn these face up. You're going to get bonuses and penalties depending on if you have support or combined arms. So depending on how you have these situated in a particular lane, I call them wings and center, but you could call them lanes as well, will help determine how well you're able to function in battle. So we'll get to that. Don't worry about that. That's the cards. Already went over the information counters. Initiative. Let's see. So before you would have done this, you would have set up rolled for initiative to determine which side sets up first. Which again, if you're playing two-player, there's kind of an advantage there because the person that sets up second can react to the way the cards are situated in front of him. Alright. Wait, these are outdated rules. I've got a newer version on a computer, but these should work sufficiently. Let's see, breaking the enemy's battle line is basically how you win. So victory conditions, when there are no longer any troops from a single army in a lane, the other side wins. So what am I saying? I'm saying if there's no British anywhere in this lane, but there's French, then the French win. Same for either lane. If any of these lanes, if that ever happens, it's game over. That is the victory conditions, and then the length of battle. Battles I have currently last 3 turns, but that is subject to change because really you don't need to keep track of turns. You just go until the victory conditions are met. Now, in the optional rules, I have an option for a campaign game, and you would play 3 games. The only difference between this and that being after 3 turns you have the option to retreat. Why is that important? Because you save your force for the next battle, although you could possibly get reinforcements for the next battle. There is no guarantee there. You're going to roll for them. So if you feel like you're losing the battle and there's no point in continuing to fight, you would be able to retreat, although you risk being pursued. Let's see, maneuver. There's a little bit of maneuvering in so much as you can move from reserve to the battle line, or from the battle line to no man's land, and vice versa for the other side, but not too involved there. Units may only attack enemy units in their lane. So again, this is a lane. Only these guys will be able to fight each other. These guys won't be able to fight those guys. These guys won't be able to fight these guys. It's restricted to the respective lanes. Artillery may fire 2 areas away, but straight ahead only. So whereas anything else would need to move up to attack, artillery would be able to fire 1, 2, so from its own battle line. No units may attack from the reserve area. Again, cavalry units may move 2 areas, or move 1 area and battle. Battle occurs in 3 phases. You've got your initial setup, reinforcement to the line of battle from the reserve area, attacking, and then once all the units have been exhausted on each side, you will continue to the next round, I guess you could say. Each side has a commanding general. That would be this feller here and this feller here. And you will roll, even though I have a stat on here that has since changed. You're going to roll, you will only have 2 cards that you print off and cut out, but you will roll for their stats, and I have a chart that you roll on which determines what that command rating is. Let's see. So if I rolled, begins with a 4. There we go. The command ratings will only ever be as low as 4 or as high as 8. So I'll roll for those. The British get to a 5. Roll a 4, that makes a 5. So we set the die at 5. There he is. The French rolled a 4. He's also a 5. Now that's not too. Let's re-roll that just to make this a little more interesting. He rolled a 10. Not that I have any problem with them both being equal, but it's just a tad more interesting when you can see the distinctions if you haven't done so already. So if I rolled a 10, that's going to be an 8. That's going to make it a little more interesting for you guys there. May not seem like a big deal, but I'm telling you, having played this a number of times, the command rating for your commanders really does affect quite a bit and can really swing the game in your favor or the other player's favor. What you have here is an initiative, or an initiative system that determines who goes. You go, I go, etc. It's your command rating that's going to determine how often you go. If it's a higher rating, you'll more likely go more often than the opposing player. You will also incorporate the leader's command rating when you're trying to rally troops that have been disordered or routed. Not rooted, but routed. What else, y'all? So yeah, your initiative and attack can determine which side goes first, etc. You will have your attacker, you roll for attacker, playing initiative. Basically you're going to roll 2d10, and the 2d10 that you're rolling, it's going to read 0 to 99. Leader's command rating. Defenders can play rating. So basically you're just going to roll and add the commander's ratings to each to determine who goes first. Yep. Whichever's higher wins the initiative for that attack. Let's see. Then you can repeat the process after the attack to see who goes again. After all attacks are complete and both sides are finished, then you can pull up reserves. You can try to rally units. Now the way this is played out, a lot of these rules I pulled from the PC version of Victory and Glory, and the way it plays is you need to get a hit, then you roll for an effect. But the way I've done it is when you roll for the hit, it's that result that you also use for the effect. It seems to work better, it seems to be bloodier. I like it better, so that's what I've been doing. And there are a lot of factors that you need to take into account when you roll to determine if you get a hit. For instance, is the target tired? Is the target disrupted? You need to work in your combat rating differential. So the stat that's on the bottom of the card will be worked in. And the stats that you see here for the British, you may notice, or you may not. You'll see two numbers divided by a slash. The first number represents the British before 1810 or something like that. I don't remember exactly where I have that. And the stat afterwards would be post 18 question mark. Yeah, 1808. So before 1808, after 1808. So it just adds a little more historical feel for if you want to represent a certain battle from a particular era. Where was I at? Support. So a defending unit gains 10% for each unit that shares the battle area with it. So this guy would gain 20% for having two units sharing the battle with it. That is support. Combined arms. An attacker gains 10% for each unique unit type in the same battle area. So this cavalry guy here would gain another 10%. He'd gain 20% for having support from these two guys, and another 10% for having a different unit that is the militia. He would not gain an additional 10% combined arms factor for the medium cavalry because light and medium cavalry are still cavalry at the end of the day. What else? Got skirmishers on here, but that's optional rules that we won't be getting into. Then you have types of units attacking other types: foot attacking horse, horse attacking foot, horse attacking cannon, firing on square, which is fairly brutal, as is horse attacking foot. Horse attacking square, gotta have squares, and disorganized attack, so if attacker is disrupted. And then the effects, the die roll, again the way I've been playing is when you roll a hit, you also take that roll and apply it to your attack result. You have a base result, you have an artillery result, because artillery is more likely to disrupt a target. If infantry is attacking infantry in square, you would roll on that. And if artillery is attacking infantry in square, the effects, you would roll for that. Then you have a little section on infantry squaring and the modifiers that apply to that. Passing, there's really no point in passing when you play this solo, but I suppose if you're playing with somebody else, what is the benefit of passing? Infantry units that are in square, you may want to pass because they're not going to fight well against, what am I trying to say? Infantry units in square and cavalry units that have only infantry units as targets, you may not want them to fight because they're not going to do so well, so you could just pass. In fact, you may end up worse off than you were. And again, if an army has no units remaining in a lane, then that side loses the battle. So it's key to keep track of who gets knocked out, who gets routed. You want to be able to fill those slots accordingly. What else? leader casualties we're not going to worry about, but that isn't worked in as well. And then finally the quick battle, which I suppose the only difference is there's no lanes, there's no man's land, it's just British line, French line. You take the commander's rating, which will determine how many troops you can have on the line, and go at it. That's pretty much the game. You got your random events, which I already said I'm not going to work in, but just for heads up, you've got two that are on nothing. You've got a flank attack, which gives you a bonus. Mass cavalry charge gives you a bonus, as does grand battery. Skirmishers. Terrain is abstractly represented in here as a bonus for attacking units. And then out of command. And then your campaign. So again, campaign consists of a series of 3 games, and during any of those games after 3 turns you have the option to retreat. The opposing player will then have the option to pursue. You will also roll to get replacements. And that's the game. So I don't know if that seems like a lot. It's really not. But that's the game in a nutshell. Now we'll go over what I have going on here, and then we'll start. We've got militia. Let's see, light cavalry, militia, and medium cavalry, and artillery, which would be light artillery, militia, and more light artillery. Right? No, that's heavy artillery. I didn't, when I typed these on here, I actually pasted those on there. I should have written, I did it for the British, heavy artillery, light artillery, but for the French I just left it artillery, so that's another thing that I've already fixed, but this batch of cards that I printed up and cut out does not represent the most recent updated version. Medium cavalry, militia, light cavalry, leader with the command rating of 8, some guard infantry, and militia in the reserve. Now, why didn't I put cavalry in the reserve? Good question. I'll probably pay for that. For the British, again, randomly set up militia, infantry, militia, heavy cavalry, heavy artillery, light cavalry, light artillery, militia, and some major heavy artillery stuff in the reserves, and a militia unit. So we'll roll to see who goes first and begin the game. He gets an 8, and he gets 19, 12, 13. So French will go first, and you can already see the benefit of having a higher command rating. They get the initiative, they get to act first. Let's try an artillery attack on this weak militia unit here. We'll turn him. Turn him up sideways. Let's see if we can turn him sideways to represent being spent or tired, if you will, after having fired. And now let's determine how this happens. So, is the target tired? No, it's not. Is the target disrupted? No, it's not. Combat rating differential, well, you have nothing there and 3 here. That 3 actually becomes a plus 30. And command rating differential, we've got 5 and 8, so there's another plus 30. That should be minus 30, sorry. Lower better. And then what else? Support. Defending unit gains 10% for each. I'm going to say support wouldn't matter on an artillery, long-range artillery attack. You guys may disagree, but let's see, combined arms, it's not going to matter either. Skirmishers, nope. Foot attacking horses. It's actually 5 times 3, which is 15, 5 times 8, which is, what is it, 45, 40. Be right back. Alright, so 15, 25 minus 25, not 30, that's minus 55. Let's roll and see what happens. Oh, Jesus. 98 minus 55 is 43. So, artillery attacking infantry, rolled a 43 on it. Thought sure he would do a lot better than that, but unfortunately all he did was disrupt the militia. Put that there. Next, roll to see who goes. 15, 13, the British will go next. I suppose you could do like a, if you're playing solo, I haven't done this, but you could do like a random die roll or chit pull to determine who goes, if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. What am I going to do? Let's roll for this heavy artillery here. Alright, 3. That's 30. He's coming up there. Bounces out. However, he's, again, your lower command rating is going to affect him. So it's actually going to be a plus 25 because of his poor command rating compared to his. So plus 25. Combine, no. Alright, let's roll that. Got a 51, which is a pretty good roll, but when you add 25 to that, that's not so good. So that's 76. Artillery with a 76, so he has also disrupted this artillery. Let's roll to see who goes next. Who's next? And 9. So he rolled a 1, but his command rating's so good, he still goes before he did. He does with a 7. So let's go with that. What's next for the British, or the French? Let's move him up. And that's all he gets to do. If you move as infantry, that's your action. Next. I think the British are going to go next with a 11, and the French with a 9. Now here's the deal. Now that he has moved into no man's land, the British must stay in their battle line within this lane. So there's another benefit of initiative going first. What else? Let's pull this artillery. Light artillery going at the militia is -10. But then you've got that plus 25, which makes plus what? 15. All that. 34 plus 15 is 49. 49 is yet again the old disorder. Alright. This. 3, 10, 15, so 3, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, British go next again. Let's attack this militia unit, A, because it's tired, B, because he has a better combat rating. We're going to say it's post-1810. Let's just say it's Waterloo. So he's going to use the 3 rating. That is minus 30. He's tired, so that is minus 10. Now we're looking at a minus 40. He will benefit from support and combined arms. So there's another minus 20, which is now minus 60. And combined arms, unfortunately, is all infantry, so he does not benefit from combined arms bonus. We're going to roll this, and this should be a pretty brutal result. 33 minus 60 is a negative, so I mean, that target's destroyed. He's done. Bye-bye, French militia. Good job, you guys. You're currently winning. What else we got here? 7 and a 9. So French go next. What do the French want to do? French want to... What do the French want to do? The French want to take this medium cavalry. We're going to charge the tired infantry and see what happens. The combat factors balance out. I think I forgot to work in the command differential for that last attack, but still would have been a unit eliminated result regardless. Minus for the French, minus 25. Now here's the thing, he doesn't have support or combined arms, so those are bonuses I don't benefit from by doing this. But again, he's tired, so I want to take advantage of that. Target tired, minus 10. That makes minus 35. And worked in the command rating. No support. Horse attacking foot. Now we got to determine if they can form square. It's going to be a little tricky for them because they're tired, but let's go to the square forming possibilities section. Square, square, square. Infantry squaring. 35 or higher. He rolls an 11. And let's see. His combat rating's a 3, so he gets a plus 30. If the unit commander has a rating less than 4, less than 9, plus 15. Unit's commander's rating of 10 or higher. No, target is tired, minus 10. Target is not disrupted. After you add all that up, you've got 45 minus 10 is 35, plus 35. I think he did it because all he needs is a 35, and he's already rolled an 11. So yes, he is able to form square, but barely. Now, my medium cavalry's stuck attacking freaking British square. Horse, let's see, horse attacking square. That's a plus 50. So where I head, let's roll that. 86, Jesus, plus 50. It's 136 minus 35. That's still 100 something. So that is nothing. And there's a chance he's going to end up disrupted after this attack for attacking the square. And that is an 80% chance, so that's not good. And wow, he made it. So he did not disrupt after attacking the square. Now we're going to roll. What are we going to roll? Who's next? We got 12 there, and an 8 there. The French go again. The French always like to go. So this cavalry. Let's pull this guy up. Now I've taken that no man's land. Make sure again. Ooh, 8 and a 2. That's a 10. So he needs British go. What the British got going on? Now we can fire. Let's take this infantry unit. Fire him. I get confused easily, so let's mark him as the current guy attacking. He's going to fire on a medium cavalry. See what happens there. He has a 3, they have a 3, so those cancel out. But he still gets the stinking plus 25 because of his crappy commander. And he gets plus, let's see, minus 20 for support. But he does not get combined arms, so that becomes a plus 5. Roll. Foot attacking horse. Plus 40. Hold on. So it's plus 45, and he's tired. So now it's plus 35. And I rolled a 42, so that's not good. Or good for me, bad for you. Yeah, 77, so infantry is attacking infantry. Yep. Let's see. Wow, 77. He's still got a disorder, so not bad after all. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 units disordered. 1 unit has been eliminated. Moving right along here. 15 and 18. So again, French go. Ooh, let's do this. Medium cavalry against light cavalry. It's going to be minus 10 because he has a 3 and they have a 2. So minus 10 there. Keep track of what I'm doing. Attacking those guys. Minus 10. He does not. Let's see. Minus 25 for the commander is now minus 35. Let's see if we're taking horse. Target's not tired. It's not disrupted. Already did the combat. That. Alright. Minus 35. Let's roll that off. He gets a 43. It's basically an 8. Jesus. Yeah, he's done. He just demolished them. French medium cavalry just demolished British light cavalry. I guess that's historically accurate. Just completely obliterated them. 2. That's a 10 and a 7. It's a 12. So the British go. What are the British going to do? Oh, jeez. Look at this. Heavy cavalry versus a tired militia unit. You ready for this? It's already a minus 40 because of their combat differentials, so let's put minus 40. But you get the plus 25 for this stinker commander. What does that make? That makes minus 15. Oh jeez. Yeah, this is going to be bad. Plus, you ready for this? Another minus 20 for support and another $20 for combined arms. Now we're looking at a minus 55. It's crazy, right? Let's see what happens. But they roll a 93. That's awful. So now we're talking about 8. Well, that's still not bad. I got a 38 out of that, if you can believe it. Oh, they're supposed to roll square. Shit. So 38. Let's see if they can roll a square here. And that was a minus 55. Keep track of what I'm doing here. Minus 55. Can they roll square? Almost forgot. And they need a what, a 35 to roll? Target infantry's combat rating. Well, they don't have any. Unit's commander rating of less than 9. It's plus 15. Uh, 35 or higher. There's plus 15 for the commander. Target is tired. Minus 10. That makes plus 5. And he's not disrupted, so he gets an 80. Plus 5, so he did form square. Are you serious? I'm kind of disappointed because I wanted to see you guys tear some stuff up, but no, they formed a square. So now we're back to, let's just re-roll that. They had a minus 55, but if you're attacking a unit in square, that is cavalry attacking infantry, not in square. Let's see, cavalry. Horse attacking square is plus 50, so that wrecks our negative 55, makes it a negative 5. Squares are very effective against cavalry. That is a 28 though, so hold on. Minus 5 is 23. There's still hope. It's 23, you know what that is? That's a dead duck. So there's a second militia unit destroyed by some British heavy cavalry. What else we got, y'all? Welcome to whoever just joined us. Who's that? The original Grognard. Hey, I'm honored. You should be showing me a thing or two, OG. Not the other way around. This is your raison d'etre. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the French go. What do the French want to do? They're running out of options here, first of all. We've got 2 disordered units which can't do anything. A light cavalry unit here, a light cavalry unit here. Well, let's try this light cavalry. No, I can't. Yeah, I can. Light cavalry against this light artillery. No squares to be had there. Okay? And we get a minus 10 for the combat differential. Minus 25 for the commander differential, another minus 10 for light artillery being tired. We get a minus 10 for support. This would count as support. We do not get combined arms. Add those up. 5, 2, 3, 4, minus 55. A healthy modifier indeed. 88 was the roll. 55 from 88 is 33. And what is 33? A horse attacking cannon. Oh, Jesus. You get another minus 10 for that, so that's 23. Forgot that modifier. Now we're looking at 23. That's basically goodbye light artillery. So it looks like we're neck and neck. Actually, no. Yeah, I have the slight advantage because the units I've knocked out are much better units than what you've knocked out. So I have the slight advantage. That leaves, have I been rolling initiative? You guys gotta remind me. Let's see, 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the French go again. This should be their last go. And then it's the British. They have 2 units left to go. So light cavalry against militia. Just box it off here so I can. This is what I usually end up with by the end of the game. Pages of this. Calculator might be better. So keep track of what I'm doing here. light cavalry. First of all, let's see if the this little British militia unit can form a square. They need 35 or higher. Target infantry's combat rating, nothing. If the unit's commander has a rating of less than 9, which they do, that's plus 15. And that's it. So 35 or higher, that, oh geez, 10. They only got a 25. So they do not form square. Now we're going to see something ugly. This is not going to be pretty. Minus 20. What else? What else? What else? Support. Minus 10. Combat. Commander rating differential. Minus 25. Right? And then no combined arms. Oh my god. Cavalry attacking infantry not in square is a minus 50, so basically we're looking at 5, 6, and 8. Minus 105. So I don't know how we can. Jesus, 89 is what I rolled. How do you even add this? Minus 99, 111, 14, that's like 16. And that is definitely unit destroyed. So now you have light cavalry, light artillery, and a militia unit that have been knocked out. I have 2 militia units that have been knocked out. The French are done at this point. That leaves 2 British units. Right? Yep. Well, he would have been the second one, but I knocked him out. So that just leaves this militia unit here, which they will attack some tired light cavalry. Problem is, the light cavalry presents plus 20 because the militia unit sucks, and they have no support, no combined arms, plus the plus 25 for their stinker commander makes a plus 45. Let's roll. Roll a 59. That is basically over 100. So nothing happened there. That is the end of that. So no more fighting this round. What do we have to do? We have disordered units. They stay in square. A unit that forms square will stay in square as long as the cavalry unit is adjacent. So they stay in square. And turn everybody back. Keep track of what I'm doing here. Give me 2 seconds and we will start trying to rally disordered units and pull up reserves, and then we'll recap what the hey-hoo is going on. Let's pull up reserves, huh? I got 2 guard infantry down here and a militia. Well, he's 1 down on this lane, so I'm definitely going to pull him up. He's down too. How did he end up? Let's pull this guard infantry up. So that's the end of the French reserves, British reserves. I think they're going to deplete their reserves here. Let's pull this heavy artillery unit. And this heavy artillery unit here, because that'll proceed. That's the strategy now. Instead of putting that militia unit here, you put the heavy artillery unit, you're going to give yourself a combined arms bonus. That there. British are out of reserves. Well, let's try and rally some of these fellers. Start with the French. Doesn't matter who goes first. And rallying disrupted units. So this is based pretty much solely on the commander's rating. The chance for success is 5% per command rating. Cavalry that's trying to rally receives a 20% bonus, so 5% per command rating, so that's 40 or less. Let's roll this. So 57 and then minus 20 for the cavalry trying to do it is definitely less than 40, which is what I needed, so he's back in action. Artillery, again, that's just going to be 40 or less. Wait. Yep, just 40 or less. And he got a 19, so he's back in action, Jackson. Finally, this militia unit, he needs a 40 or less, but guess what? He got a 58, so he's still disrupted. Now we'll move on to the French, which only have one. He will be, what is it, 5%? 5 times 5 is 25. He needs a 25 or less. He gets a 41. He's still disrupted. So what you've just witnessed is, again, a home-brewed, concocted conglomeration of Victory and Glory, Battles of Napoleon, what else? Some of my own special sauce. Threw it all in the pot, and this is what you got. I don't know that I'm going to go through another round, but again, more of the same until one of these lanes ends up with an army that has no units in the lane, at which point victory could be declared. I don't want to say it's neck and neck, but you're down 3 attack points to mine nothing, even though I do have 2 militia cards that have been knocked out. They don't really serve much of a purpose other than filling slots. And looks like I still have 1 guard infantry in reserve, so the French are looking okay. But that's the game in a nutshell. And I don't know, it's addicting. It may not seem like that to you guys. Let me pull you back up here and then I'll let you go. Alright, so it may not seem like this to you guys, but I don't know what it is about it. It's addicting. When I went home to St. Louis, I got games everywhere. Look at this is what I've been playing now for like, I don't know, 2 weeks. And I don't know, it's fun. It is a fidget spinner for wargamers. I'm not going to promise, but I have the rules typed up. This is them right here. I've got the cards in files. I took it to Office Depot, printed them up, cut them out. Everything exists in such a way that you guys can do the same thing. So I want to get this ironed out a little bit more, but then I'm going to release it to you guys and let you have your time with it and see if you enjoy it as much as I have. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and I think I'll cut you loose. So alright, that's been what I've been calling Forward to Victory. Title, artwork, subject to change. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. I forgot how to turn this off.